Hello and welcome to Just a Guy with your social educator, your LLB, the loony left bully. That's right, it's me, Mike D, Mike Duckerberg. How's everybody doing tonight? As you can see from behind me, we are not where we normally are. We are on a remote location tonight. But we're still getting it in. Still getting it in. Just educating to do. Got to make sure everybody understands what's going on out there. They're not stopping, guys. They're just going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. That loony left. They aren't holding back. They're worried. They're scared. Trump's coming in just a little bit under a month, or just a little bit under 2 months. I'm pushing it ahead, sorry. But we're going to be talking about some of the issues that are going on. We're going to be talking about the Matt Gaetz, the original pick for the Attorney General by President Trump. We're just going to rewind just a little bit. I don't know if y'all have been following what's going on right now. I had to keep updating this throughout the day because every time I had notes, it kept changing. So this is going on based off of what I saw at about 7 o'clock tonight. If it changed from then, which has been just an hour ago for anybody in different time zones. So if anything's changed in the past hour, forgive me. You know I only come with facts. So these are the facts as of 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right. Well, let's take a look at Matt Gaetz. The loony left has been coming after Matt Gaetz hard because of some sexual allegations that he had slept with a minor back years ago. And we're watching right now, not just the loony left, but we're looking at the FOTs. They're coming out in groves, guys. For those of you who don't know what a FOT is a fake-ass Republican traitor. All right? We're seeing them coming out. We're looking to see who really wants to make America great again, and who's just playing the role. Okay? So Matt Gaetz has these allegations thrown against him that he slept with a 17-year-old girl, and the allegations were investigated. They didn't have anything they could charge him with, so everything was dropped. But all of a sudden, they want to reopen up the case, look at the ethics committee, and see if there's any truth to this. Let's just look at it like this, guys. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't have looked into it, because they should. You have to look into a serious allegation like that. But the fact is, they already looked into that serious allegation. Now think about it. It's the DOJ, the Department of Justice, went after Matt Gaetz years ago to try to prove that he slept with a 17-year-old girl. Now, this is the same DOJ, mind you, that's going after Trump numerous times. This is the same DOJ that told you the Hunter Biden laptop wasn't real. This is the same DOJ that told you the Russia collusion hoax was real. This is the same DOJ that instead of going after illegal aliens, they're going after parents sticking up for themselves at school board meetings. This DOJ is the one that investigated Matt Gaetz. If you think for 1 second that the DOJ had even an ounce of anything on Matt Gaetz, they would have thrown that spaghetti against the wall and see if it stuck. So the simple fact that the DOJ looked into Matt Gaetz and these allegations and couldn't bring charges or an indictment or anything else against him, that right there is enough for me to say the man is good. Done. Back him. I expect the loony left to play these games. I expect that. But what I don't expect is for you fake-ass Republican traitors, you FOTs out there, standing up the way you are. But don't worry, you're showing your true selves, and that's fine. Because a couple of you are up for election in 2026 then, Mr. John Cornyn. I'm in your state. I'm in Texas. 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 I'm in Don't worry. Keep being a fart, John Cornyn. Keep being a fart, Senator Cornyn. We'll see what happens. We'll get a real Republican in there. See people like Senator Cornyn. They'll tell you when they're in the home state how great they are and what they've done for the Conservative Party, but then when they go to D.C., they act completely different. Right? That's a fart. You're fake-ass Republican traitors. All right? Before I go on about Matt Gaetz, I just want to say hello to a brand new listener, Seraphin. Pleasure to have you on board. Thank you very much for listening. We're social educating here, so we're trying to get the information out for you guys so that you can take the information and educate others. Appreciate it. So Matt Gaetz this afternoon puts a little post out on X, and again, I'll paraphrase, but when I quote, I read directly from the quotes so I don't get anything wrong. Okay. So Matt Gaetz in his post on X says, I had an excellent meeting with the senators today. I appreciate their thoughtful feedback and incredible support of so many. While the momentum was strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance transition. There is no time to waste on needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. Thus, I'll be withdrawing my name from the consideration to serve as Attorney General. He goes on, Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one. I remain fully committed to see that Donald J. Trump, the most successful president in history. I will forever be honored that President Trump nominated me to lead the Department of Justice, and I'm certain he will save America. So this is the post on X and more that former Representative Matt Gaetz puts out there and gracefully steps aside. Okay, he understands that the Attorney General needs to be able to hit the ground running day one. January 20th, we'll have that disgrace out of there. We'll have a real leader in there. And that Attorney General needs to get going right from day one, not still be getting confirmed. So he understands that this is a process that cannot wait. In order to get President Trump and J.D. Vance's agenda moving, they have to be in place, ready to go. Policies, procedures, staff, everything. Let's go. Let's hit the ground running. So in knowing that this is going to be a political marathon, they're going to drag it out as long as possible, and it's going to affect the Attorney General and it's going to affect the DOJ. He decides to gracefully step aside. I applaud Matt Gaetz for doing it. I wish he didn't do it. I would have rather seen him stay in there and fight. But he also knows that even if he would have been confirmed and put in, there would have been a fight just to get things done, right? So he understood what was going to happen, and instead of taking away from President Trump and the great things that he wants to do, he steps aside selfishly and lets the process continue. Okay, so I was hoping, and maybe he reached out. I don't know. You don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I was really hoping that if it wasn't going to be Matt Gaetz, it was going to be Trey Gowdy. If anybody remembers Trey Gowdy from a few years ago before he left Congress because he was getting very, very frustrated and went back to being a private attorney, Trey Gowdy was one of the best attorneys out there. And the questioning that he would give in his time when he would talk about different scandals under Obama, the questioning that he had was absolutely amazing. The way he would back people up in the corners, the way he would get them to admit things, the way that he would get them to not admit things, showing their guilt or just showing their incompetence or whatever the case may be. The man is a genius as an attorney and a prosecutor. So I was really, really hoping that it was going to be Trey Gowdy. Now again, President Trump and his team could have reached out to Trey Gowdy, and Trey Gowdy's, and again in the private world, he's an attorney. I know he's on Fox News. Maybe he didn't want to come back. Maybe he felt where he's at was better. I know he was very frustrated with being in Congress. So maybe all that frustration, he felt like even as the Attorney General, he didn't want to go back and deal with all the BS. And I can understand that. So we don't know if President Trump reached out to him or not. And I appreciate that you agree, sir. And he's a great man. So that was my hope. And I'm not taking away. I was listening and looking at the newsreels. It looks like President Trump is picking Pam Bondi as his new Attorney General. Okay, Pam Bondi is a magnificent pick too. For anybody that doesn't know who Pam Bondi is, Pam Bondi was the attorney in President Trump's impeachment trials. She did a great job. Okay, she's very capable. She's very intelligent. She's innovative. So Pam Bondi as the Attorney General is another fantastic pick. So not disappointed in the appointment of Pam Bondi. Now, Looney left. Let's see you come after Pam Bondi. You're all about women's rights. You're all about not keeping the woman down. You're all about DEI. Come at her. Come at her. See what happens. And you know they will, because they're a bunch of hypocrites, right? Like, oh well, we didn't mean we don't mean that woman, because just like Mark Cuban said, anybody that women around Trump are intelligent and weak. So we don't mean Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi's not one of the women that we stick up for, right? Just like if we could just save one life. We're not talking about the babies. We're talking about the illegal criminals, the murderers, the rapists, the sexual assaultists. Those are the ones we want to save, not the innocent kids. So why would the loony left have stop from going after Pam Bondi? All right, Mark, good to see you, buddy. So Pam Bondi is a fantastic pick. I'm kind of interested to see what the loony left does now. And again, it's not going to surprise me in any way, shape, or form if these hypocritical communist, socialist, Marxists have some sort of an excuse as to why they're going to come after her. And they will. But let's take a look at Matt Gaetz now. He's without a job because he stepped down from being a representative, U.S. congressman, because he was going to be the Attorney General. Now he's not going to be the Attorney General because he resigned from that. We already spoke why, so we're not going to go over that again. So currently, Matt Gaetz is unemployed. So let's take a look. Possible solutions for future for Matt Gaetz. He could go back and be a private attorney. I mean, he was a brilliant attorney. From anybody that you talk to, even the other side of the aisle will tell you that he was a fantastic attorney. So he could easily go back, open up a firm in Florida, and be very, very successful. Without a doubt. You're represented by Matt Gaetz, right? The guy's going to make money in the private sector if he wants to. We're looking for a senator, right? Because Marco Rubio has been picked by President Trump as well. So they need to fill Marco Rubio's spot. Obviously, Laura Trump is one of the highest names that are up there for being thrown around. Even Hulk Hogan's been thrown around, right? Terry Bollea. But wouldn't it be something for Governor DeSantis to choose Matt Gaetz as the U.S. Senator for Florida to replace Marco Rubio? So he goes from being one of 435 in Congress, on the House of Representatives side, to being one of 100 in the Senators, and gives him a little bit more power politically. Okay, or what would be even funnier is I believe it's January 3rd. I could be wrong on the date. There's a special runoff in Matt Gaetz's congressional district because they don't have a congressman right now. Wouldn't it be funny if Matt Gaetz files the paperwork and ends up in a special runoff and gets his old job back? That would be absolutely amazing. And it would just be a big ironic FU to the Socialist Marxist Communist Party. You thought that you were done with me? Guess what? I'm back. And I'm saying, oh, by the way, I'm in the same exact seat that I resigned from. So have at it. But with that being said, that would allow the Ethics Committee to come back, open up everything, and stirs a whole other can of worms. So it's kind of interesting to see where Matt Gaetz is going to go with this. But the possibilities are practically endless and somewhat comical. Especially my pick, I would love to see him as the U.S. Senator to take Marco Rubio's place. Speaking of picks, President Trump hasn't picked it yet, but there's speculation and there's talk, and even CNN, the created news network, is chiming in right now, and of course very, very negatively, because they're scared of this man, and as they should be. See, the Secret Service still has to be chosen by I don't think that he can recant his resignation. It's too late. The paperwork's been turned in, Mark. So I don't think that he can recant it, because he did officially turn in his paperwork to Speaker Johnson, saying that he will not take the seat again. So, but that doesn't mean that he can't refile and run in the runoff, a special election. That's not stopping him from that. So I do believe, because the paperwork has already been submitted and filed, he can't recant it anymore. Now, if it was just a verbal agreement, I believe he would have been able to recant and take his seat back. But because the paperwork's actually been filed and processed, he cannot do that anymore. But we're going to look at a future pick, Secret Service, right? Of course, that's going to be a very near and dear cabinet position for President Trump, right? Considering that he was shot. Then they had another person that tried to shoot him. So this is something that is going to be a very, not that the rest of them aren't serious picks. I'm not trying to downplay the other cabinet members, but this one I think especially is important to President Trump. And CNN had a fantastic headline. We'll read it here in a minute on who they believe is going to be the next Secret Service pick for President Trump. And that is none other than my fellow paisan, Dan Bongino, ex-former Secret Service agent, current podcast superstar, right? On Fox News. He is all over the place. He still has a ton of connections in the Secret Service. In fact, when I want to know what's really going on behind the scenes, I listen to his podcast to figure out exactly what's going on with these scandals, because he knows. Don't think for 1 minute he don't know. He has more whistleblowers than anybody out there probably. He has Secret Service agents that he communicates with on a regular basis that tell him what's going on. And they can't BS him, because he sat there. He did that job for years underneath 2 different presidents. He was the recruiting agent in one of the major offices in New York City. I don't know if it was in the Bronx or Brooklyn. I don't remember where he was, or Queens or whatever it was. But he was heading up that recruiting office there in New York City. So he understands every single process. This would be a fantastic pick there, Mr. President. Remember, Dan Bongino. Right? So here's the headline from CNN. Now, bear with me. They haven't cut it down yet. So it's probably going to be much shorter, but it reads something like this. Donald Trump is considering a right-winged media personality. People who have served on his U.S. Secret Service detail, as well as others, run the agency that has been plagued by its failure to preempt 2 alleged assassinations attempts on Trump this summer. I love how they say alleged, right? Because the guy actually maybe didn't shoot. Maybe just an alleged bullet that hit him in the ear. It was just an alleged guy on a roof. It was just an alleged guy that killed another person and injured 3 others. It was just an alleged guy on a golf course, right? All these are just allegations, right? According to the created news network, right? So, preempt 2 alleged assassination attempts on Trump this summer. Sources familiar with the president-elect's thinking tell CNN. They go on to say, podcaster Dan Bongino, a former Secret Service agent who is highly critical of the agency's leadership as security failures around the alleged attempts on Trump's life. Again, I always get a kick out of the alleged attempts. Like that right there, when Trump talks about fake news and all you loony left people, caught myself, when all you loony left people talk about Trump says the news is fake and he's lying and blah, 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 and there's no fake news, right there, The Created News Network, CNN, says the assassination attempts are alleged. There's no alleging. The dude shot President Trump in the ear. The other guy was in a bush hiding and got caught. There's no alleged. Those are assassination attempts. So when the President Trump says fake news, the Created News Network right there validates everything the president has ever said about it. Done. Not that there's not like a billion other examples, but this is just the latest one. I don't know if he could get rid of Secret Service altogether without congressional approval. He may be able to. I don't know. But because I think it's an official cabinet position, he may need congressional approval to do that. Now, he could take Secret Service and have somebody like Dan Bongino say, listen, I don't want you guarding me. I need you guys to reassign your duties and guard maybe national monuments or other congressmen or something to that effect. Like he could reassign their duties so they're not guarding him, and he could have his own personal security if he likes. So that's something he could do. And President Trump has a lot of respect for the Secret Service agents. That the people that are on the ground, his detail that travels with him and actually protect him and do their job well. He has a lot of respect for those people. So when he and even when Dan Bongino, when they talk about the Secret Service, they don't talk about the Secret Service agents that are on the ground. They do their job and they do it very, very well. Where the disgust comes from President Trump and from Dan Bongino and the like is at the top, the brass that make the decisions when President Trump's requesting additional assets, or when they take some of his regular staff and put them elsewhere so that the First Lady can be guarded, because she's obviously such a security threat. And I'm not saying she shouldn't have people. I'm not saying that. But when you have an Iranian terrorist that is telling you Iran has a hitman and a contract out on President Trump, no offense to the First Lady, the assets should be directed toward President Trump, not towards the First Lady. She should still have her assignment, yes, but you don't redirect people over there and take them away from a sitting, or at the time, a former president who has basically a bounty on his head. Okay? And, so Secret Service is part of Treasury Department. Thank you, Serafin. So technically, I guess they could go. If it's just a piece of the Treasury Department. You might not need congressional approval for that then. It'd be something to look into, and I'll do my due diligence and research that. But, so, I completely took a short story, made it long, right? Because that's what I'd love to do. CNN, the Created News Network, goes on to say, Acting Service Director Ronald Wray was unsuccessful in trying to set up a meeting with Trump this week, because obviously he's trying to interview for his job, because he just took over after that joke of a director, Joe Biden's buddy, when she wasn't fired, she stepped down, right? Because they don't really fire anybody. But when that joke of a director stepped down, Ronald Wray stepped in, and he was now the acting director. So he was trying to get hold of President Trump, because he knows during this transition he could possibly interview for his job. President Trump obviously sees him as no better than that joke of a director before, and he's not even going to take a meeting with him, apparently. So other names being thrown around, though, besides Dan Bongino, is Sean Kern, who is the head of Trump's detail, head of Trump's current detail, and also Robert Engel, who is the head of Trump's former detail that was with him on January 6th. So those are two other names. So you have Sean Kern, the current head of his detail, and Robert Engel, who is the head of his detail back in January in 2021. So of the three, of the three, I'm not taking anything away from Sean Curran, and I'm not taking anything away from Robert Engel. Again, because I don't know them. I don't get to hear them speak. I don't know what they know. I don't know how they interact with the rest of the agents. I don't know their leadership ability. And obviously, the leaders for a reason. And if President's considering them, then obviously they've got to be in the upper pot. But my pick, Mr. President, because I know you're listening, right? I'll call you later, right? Dan Bongino, right? That's it. And I don't know if Dan Bongino wants to do it. He's making probably buku dollars with his podcast. He's got a cushy job at Fox. He loves what he does, but the guy is a huge patriot. He absolutely loves America. He loves President Trump, and I think that alone would be enough for him to step away from what he's doing to make sure that he's doing a job that means that much to him. And if you listen to Dan Bongino talk, he will tell you that when he was done being an agent, he couldn't talk about it while he was in the Secret Service. But when he was done being a Secret Service agent, and he stepped away. He was always proud to tell people that he was in the Secret Service. He was an agent. He said that with pride. But underneath this joke of administration, the Bordazar and APM Joe, the child trafficking organization they got going on there. Dan Bongino said this is the first time in his life that he doesn't want to admit that he was a Secret Service agent for so many different reasons. So if President Trump reached out to him, I could see it going both ways. I could see him saying, you know what, I'm good where I'm at. Thank you. But at the same time, this man is such a patriot, and this man has such a love for doing things the right way and making America great again, that I could see him easily and enthusiastically stepping into that role and doing an amazing job at it. So we'll see where that one goes. Last topic today, and the reason I title it this way is because this is a phrase that Mr. Dan Bongino uses all the time. Double barrel middle fingers, right? The Biden-Harris administration just gave the double barrel middle fingers to everybody in America, every last one of you, right? Homeland Security Director, Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, and FBI Director Christopher Wray. They were scheduled to testify in front of the Senate House Committee today for Homeland Security and to talk about threats facing the United States. So you have the Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas and the FBI Director Wray coming in to talk about the threats to the United States. And what did they do? They both skipped it. Let that sink in. These are the head of two of the organizations in the United States that are supposed to protect America. That are supposed to come out and make sure that America and Americans are safe. And what did they do? They don't give two craps about you. They don't give two craps about your neighbor. They don't give two craps about your kids. They skipped it because they wanted to be political. Let that sink in. These are the people that are responsible for your safety, for my safety, for your kids' safety, for your grandkids' safety, for Fufu's safety, for your cat's safety, everybody. These are the two individuals that run those organizations to make sure that we can go on and live our lives safely. And what do? They skip a meeting to testify in front of Congress on threats to the United States. And Mayorkas is definitely a communist. He's a part of that Socialist Communist Marxist Party, Seraph, and you're absolutely right. In fact, he should have been impeached. And if you ask me, him and Dr. Fauci should both be sitting in jail right now. Dr. Fauci for killing Americans for that scamdemic, well, not just Americans, but people all over the world, but especially here in America, Dr. Fauci should be sitting in jail for that scamdemic. And Alexandro Mayorkas should be sitting in jail for letting the 13,000 known convicted murderers and the 16+ thousand known convicted rapists and sexual assaultists into the United States, along with whomever else they let in. So I feel about them, if you want to know. Christopher Wray, he should be in jail too. Just for all the lies, all the politicizing of his department, all the cover-ups in his department. Right? He should be in jail too. So, one of my favorite senators, Republican Senator Josh Hawley. Of course, he's going to go. He's never a loss for words. That's why I like him, right? He's kind of like yours truly, Mike Zuckerberg. I'm not at a loss for words, right? If I see something, I say something. As simple as that. He saw something, and he comes straight out and he says it. Secretary Mayorkas, Director Wray's refusal to testify publicly today in the Senate is an outrage and a brazen attempt to avoid oversight for the political abuses at FEMA and the FBI and more. I look forward to Director Wray's resignation. If you're not going to show up and do your job there, Director Wray, just leave now. Not that you've ever really done your job besides hide stuff for President Biden and Vice President Harris, the border czar. Not that you've done any justice for the American people whatsoever. But now it's just blatant you're not going to do your job. Just leave. Nobody likes you any damn way. Let's just put the right people in there. Get an acting director in there. It don't matter. Do whatever you got to do. Get this piece of trash out of there. Right? He's gonna leave anyways. We'll talk about that in a second here. But Republican Senator Josh Hawley just calls him out. Absolutely love it. Republican Senator Rand Paul. Love him too. Not exactly his dad. His dad Ron was absolutely amazing. Rand's pretty good too. He comes out and he says, it's unacceptable that the FBI director and DHS secretary are refusing to testify publicly at our annual hearing on threats to the homeland. The American people deserve to hold these officials accountable for the actions under the Biden administration. Now, to give you an idea at this annual hearing, this is the first time in 15 years that they didn't show up. So that tells you everything you need to know, right? Now, this just isn't a Republican thing. This is a bipartisan issue, right? So not only are the Republicans pissed off about this, but Democrat Chairman Gary Peters, he chimes in. And he says, and I quote, their claims that they can only relay such information and respond to questions in classified setting are entirely without merit. It cannot be the practice of the executive branch to deny the public critical information and disregard Congress' constitutionally recognized right to conduct oversight. So what he's saying is the Biden-Harris administration is telling Congress that we cannot participate in this because it's not a classified setting. Now, we just heard from Senator Rand Paul that this is an annual hearing. Now, I know that when he left, I know you have a hard time understanding vocabulary because you can't even define what a damn woman is. So I'm going to help you out with the word annual. It's not anal, it's annual. For all you little freaks out there on the left, it's annual, not anal, annual, which means yearly. That means this meeting happens every single year. But the Biden-Harris administration is trying to say that they cannot do this unless it's in a classified setting. But yet we've been doing it yearly for how many decades? So take a look. If you can still sit there and vote for the Communist, Socialist, Marxist Party just based on this stupidity, let me know. We'll go out, we'll get a GoFundMe, and we'll get you those special loony left helmets. So that way when you fall off the curb and run into the walls, it's for your safety. All right, we're going to bring back those loony left helmets. Okay? Because we don't want to see you people hurt your brain any more than it's already there. Not there's much left of it. But we don't want to see you guys get injured any more than you already are. Exactly. What's being hidden? Is it that bad that you can't even come out and talk in generalizations? That I can't wait, Mark. I can't wait until we get the proper people in there, in the DOJ, the proper people in the FBI, the proper people in Homeland Security, proper people in Secret Service, all the crap that is going to come out. Because don't you think for one second that Dan Bongino is not going to go into the Secret Service and spill everything? Everything. There is so much information that man knows, and he'll tell you he has so much information that he knows, but he cannot specifically verify it yet. And as soon as he's able to verify it, he will spill it. He's already spilled a whole bunch of other crap, and he's been right about it. So to have somebody like Dan Bongino and all these other guys, Peter Hegseth, Christy Naom, what's her name? Christy Noem, come in there and just spill the beans. And then the American people will know. I mean, they're not going to tell you everything that's hidden. Because there's a lot of, like international stuff that's going on that, you don't want Russia to know, you don't want China to know, Iran and all that other stuff, and I get that. But the stuff that's going on against us as Americans from our own departments here by the Biden-Harris administration, I guarantee not all of it's going to come out, but there will be so much information once the proper people are in place, get rid of the trash, and put the proper people in their spot. You're going to see so much crap. You're going to see files burnt. You're going to see computers damaged. You're probably going to see paper shredders that are going to need warranty fixes because they're shredding so much paper. It's ridiculous. They're going to have what's that company that comes by and they pick up all the paper you shred, right? They got those little arm cars. Then they come by and they pick up all the sensitive papers. Man, they're going to have those, like, it's going to be a lineup of it. It's going to look like a U-Haul factory with all the papers they're going to be trying to shred before Donald Trump's people come in. Why? Because they know they're screwed. That's why. But in the end, FBI Director Christopher Wray, he already said he's going to resign before President Trump takes office in January because he's a coward. But what do you expect from the loony left? Right? He's a coward. That's all he is. Right? So he's not even going to go and like have a conversation. He's just going to up and quit. Right? He already quit. He didn't show up today. He already quit. So what's the difference? Right? And South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem is going to take place to replace Mayorkas. Okay? I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. We're actually going to have somebody that cares about the borders. Now, Kristi Noem, we'll go over her more in detail when we talk about her as one of President Trump's picks. But as governor of South Dakota, she was unique for so many different reasons. The way she handled the scamdemic. I know everybody gives credit to Governor DeSantis, and he deserves credit. And everybody gives credit to Governor Abbott, and he deserves some credit. But Governor Noem from South Dakota was the only one in all 50 states that didn't shut her state down, didn't alter her state's policies. She just acted like the scamdemic wasn't going on. That takes some guts. And then when they started bringing in all these illegals, she said, we will not take a single illegal. We are not a sanctuary state. We are not a sanctuary city. In fact, it's unsafe for them to be here. And this is the woman. This woman right here is going to take over for Mayorkas, who let the crap run rampant. And I'm just going to say it. And it's probably, according to the loony left, it could be true. Kristi Noem has more balls than Alexander Mayorkas. And according to the loony left, I guess it's genetically possible now, right? So, with that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. I was going to do the entire thing on Matt Gaetz, but obviously with his resignation, there wasn't a need to go into everything that was going on to stand up for him because he already decided to resign. So I had to pivot, and we talked about earlier with Secret Service and the Mayorkas and Wray's big double barrel middle finger to the United States and the rest of you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's episode. I hope you learned a lot. I hope we got some educational tools in there, so that way when you guys go and you talk and you educate everybody else, be those social educators. We're going to continue to change minds. We're going to continue to talk to those people in the Senate and off to the left and get them to understand, look, you voted for President Trump. We're turning America red. Let's keep America red. Let's keep America noble. Let's make America great again. And do me a favor, guys. Every last one of you, like, comment, share. Share it on every social platform you have, because this is the best way for us to educate more people. I need more people like you to go out there and educate and get everybody on board, and to share this videos so that we can educate even more people. Seraphin, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope to see you again, my friend. Until next time, though, love each and every one of you. I'll be praying for you. Till next time, Mike Duckerberg out.